I want to write a poem about praise that doesn't pretend it's always easy, that doesn't gloss over the days when your hands stay down, and the worship feels forced and breezy, because I've had those days, more than I'd like to admit. Days where the song in my mouth felt hollow, where I stood in the sanctuary on Sunday morning and couldn't find a single note to follow. Some days the grief is sitting right beside you in the pew. Some days the bills are due and the account is dry. Some days you just buried someone you loved deeply, and the sky outside looks wrong somehow and you don't know why. And somebody on the stage is singing about breakthrough, and you're just trying to hold yourself together, trying to believe that this season is not permanent, trying to trust that God still controls the weather. Can I tell you something about those days, though? Praise was never meant to be the soundtrack of easy living. It was forged as a weapon for exactly these tears. Paul and Silas didn't sing because the prison was comfortable. They didn't praise because the chains felt good around their feet. They sang at midnight in a Roman dungeon because they knew something the darkness couldn't defeat. They knew that the atmosphere shifts when the people of God open their mouths. They knew that heaven responds to the sound of a surrendered will. They knew that worship is an act of holy warfare, and that the God who started their story was completing it still. And at midnight the foundations of that prison shook, and every door flew open and every chain came loose, and the jailer ran in trembling and fell to his knees, because there was no other explanation, no other excuse. So I'm writing this for the person who is barely holding on, for the one who hasn't slept in too many nights, for the one standing in the middle of a battle that nobody else around them really sees or fights. Hallelujah, not because it's all okay and everything is fine, but because He's God and you have chosen to align. Hallelujah in the waiting room. Hallelujah when the answer hasn't come. Hallelujah when you're tired and barely holding on, because the God who inhabits praise has already won. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once all the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose.